are unmuted, your worship, when you're ready.
Good evening, everyone. It is 7 p.m. and I will call this meeting of council to order. I'll remind council members of any disclosures of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof. See none noted. Moving on with section 3, review of items not listed on the agenda. Are there any this evening?
We have no additional items, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Moving on with section 4, announcements. Does any member of council have anything to announce this evening? Start again. Okay, the only announcement that I want to make, of course, is welcome everyone to 2023 and Happy New Year. Want to acknowledge I guess we'll call it the Christmas blizzard of 2022. Simply state that there were a number of volunteers who lent their assistance to their fellow citizens over this event. Eternally grateful for that. Thank you. I know that from an operations perspective, we'll be reviewing what took place, what went right, what went wrong, and we'll see if we can determine a better course for a future event. Hopefully, we don't have to do this again. So we're moving on then with section 7, adoption of the minutes of the previous meetings. We have 3 sets of minutes. The special council meeting held December 13th, 2022, the regular council meeting held December 15th, 2022, and the statutory planning meeting held December 15th, 2022. Has everyone had opportunity to peruse those minutes? And if there are no errors or omissions, I would look for a mover and seconder for the following. That the minutes from the special council meeting held December 13th, 2022, the regular council meeting held December 15th, 2022, and the statutory planning meeting held December 15th, 2022 be approved as presented. Mover and seconder. Councillor Chilcott will move, Deputy Mayor Weisler will second. All in favor? That is carried. Skipping down to section 11, physical services, emergency services. 11.2, reports to council. We have report PS 0123 by Ed Rollison, water wastewater operations regarding RFT 22021, new half-ton 4-wheel drive pickup truck. Good evening, Mr. Rollison.
Good evening, your worship and members of council. The report before you this evening, council may recall approval of a new pickup truck for the water wastewater department. The one pickup truck was tendered, and the results of the tender are before you this evening. One local dealer closed, and two other dealers. And I indicated in the report the location of those the dealers that took place. One note there, your worship, is the low bid that we see before us this evening is slightly above the allotment that we had been looking at in the water wastewater department, and that we're recommending that the overage based on the low bid from Eichenberg Motors be picked up through the wastewater reserves. So information is there in the report before you. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Thank you for that report, Ed. Any questions for staff?
Your worship, if I could just add one thing, I think it's actually of importance. This price does include safety components for the pickup truck. In particular, we spec a rear back rack for the vehicle, as well as the required safety lighting for the pickup truck to be installed, supplied and installed at the dealer. And that brings the vehicle into Ministry of Labor compliance for road works and when we're out on the road and whatnot. So the safety lighting and whatnot. So just wanted to mention that is included in this price, as we did spec it that way.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
A little more description. That's not a standard cab, it's a quad cab you
Yes, your worship. This is a quad cab pickup truck, four-wheel drive.
Mhm.
This is a base model truck, so essentially as simple as we could spec it. Within the water wastewater department, we have utilized quad cab pickup trucks for a number of years. We are in favor of the quad cab pickup truck in terms of ability to have equipment and specialized tools and whatnot. Within the vehicle and not actually in the back of the truck. So, yes.
Thank you for that. Is there anything additional? Well, one, Councillor Chilcott.
Thank you. Just a quick question. The 40,000 that you had originally allotted for, did that include the safety devices or is that a bit additional?
Through your worship, to Councillor Chilcott, yes, we try to incorporate everything we're looking for in the spec and that it be dealt with at the dealer, because the wiring components and whatnot have to be essentially spliced into the factory wiring. So this all gets covered under warranty when it's done at the dealer.
Thank you.
And finally, Ed, should council choose to adopt your recommendation? When do you expect delivery?
Your worship, the dealer is indicating approximately 4 months.
Well, you won't get any road salt out there.
Your
Yeah.
worship, just a moment. We're having a video issue here. I can see that the video is not working. Can Deputy Mayor and Councillor Froese, can you still hear us?
I can hear you loud and clear, but you're right, I cannot see you.
Okay.
I can hear you as well, and I can see you.
Oh, we'll just watch the podium instead. Okay, if there are no further questions for staff, then the motion would read the report PS 0123 regarding RFP 2201 or 02, excuse me. 1, new half-ton four-wheel drive pickup truck to be received for information. And that council approved the procurement of 1 new half-ton four-wheel drive pickup truck for Meikenberg Motors Limited in the total amount of $51,937 dollars and 73 cents plus HST. Do I have a mover and seconder for that? No. Okay, Councillor Emerson will move, Councillor Chilcott will second. Now everybody's still visible. I'll call the question. All in favor? Okay, that's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, just a quick comment. Since the video for the chambers is frozen, nobody can actually see the votes around the horseshoe.
Then I would recommend then that we do go to and then
Recorded?
the recorded votes. Do you
Yes.
want that one recorded for this last one?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, who's gonna call?
I can call it. So I'm going to call your name out and if you are yay or nay, I would just identify yes or no. So I will start with Councillor Dan Froese,
Yes, sir.
Councillor Emerson,
Yes.
Councillor Chilcott,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Weisler,
Yes,
and Mayor Ketchabah.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, now moving forward with report FR 0123 by Harry Baranek, Fire Chief, and Ed Rolson, Water Wastewater Operations regarding capital item number FD 02, the water flow survey. Who's taking the lead on this one?
My report, guys.
Thank you, Worship. Before you is a report regarding the water flow management. This was a capital project that we identified in 2022 to ascertain the flow system and the rates within the municipality. Before you, you will see that the system itself will support the domestic requirements with regards to the community and the water. However, with regards to the fire department, it shows that there is a concern with the rates that are available in some of the community. Back in the time of the day when the system was put in, trucks were pumping 460 to 640 liter or gallons per minute. Now, more modern trucks are 1,060 to 1,200 gallons per minute. Our system has stated itself, the water system, to a fire department. Does not mean we can't use it. It just means that we have to be careful in the way we use it, and also be prudent in ensuring that our brother department is notified immediately when we are going to use it, and they can assist us the best they can. Questions, George?
All right, I will turn this over to council members. Do you have any questions for Chief Bernick or Water Wastewater's manager, Ed Wilson? Yeah, Deputy Mayor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have a couple of questions about the report. I do understand that the pumpers do pump faster than what our hydrants allow. I just wondered if the chief could speak briefly. Is there any way that we could adjust how the flow comes from the pumper level, the pumper truck level?
Through your worship, with regards to how it comes to us, it'll come to us open. The hydrant is fully open, and that's what it has to be. It's the ability of how much we take in and how much we're dispersing. So in other words, what's going out compared to what's coming in. Therefore, what we have to do is we have to be cognizant of how much we are flowing out. Certain nozzles that, for example, the 45 millimeter nozzle will roughly pull out 150 gallons per minute per nozzle, and a 65 millimeter nozzle will pull out 250 gallons a minute. That's going to be our duty to ensure that we keep in respect of how much is coming in and how much is going out. And if we need to, we have the ability to also set up a porta tank and to subsidize the water that we require in a porta tank, and also draft it into the tanker at the same time, or the pumper at the same time.
Deputy Mayor Weiser.
Yes, thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, just a supplementary question again with the report. It does state that 79% of our hydrants are orange or the marginal level. So I just curious, is in the event of a significant fire, what does that mean for us?
In a significant fire, that means that we are going to do very similar to what we would do up in the north end, and tanker shuttle will also be involved in that. We will be calling on our brothers and sisters from mutual aid, as we do often in the north end, and we will obtain areas that we can draft water, or we can go to a set of hydrants that have the sufficient flow that can fill our tankers at the same time we're feeding our hydrants that we're using, and therefore continue our fire service as best we can.
Question.
Yes.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Is that a written down standard operating procedure then? Like, or is that just,
This report just came out, and we are going to put that in standard operating. I can tell you that we've had discussions with the stations regarding this already. I have had discussions and have explained that. But again, this report is fairly new. We are going to be drafting a standard operating procedure on how to properly ensure that the tanker or the pumper has the proper amount of water.
great, thank you.
All right, Chief, based on the report that you've got, are you going to color code certain hydrants out there that are more eligible for drawing water off them for fire services?
Under NFPA, your worship, under NFPA standards, the fire hydrants are already color coded. We may have to code a few to a different code that we've, because of this fire flow, but they will be coded. I believe Mr. Wilson has that is his department to match what the flows are. So therefore he'll be color and coded them. And the fire department itself knows the codes. That's taught at the recruit level. what the codes mean. And so therefore, we should know from what we're getting ourselves into.
All right, and of course, these are standardized across Ontario.
North
such
America.
that Mutual aid coming in needing to draw water, they'll know the same.
Absolutely, these are standardized in North America. It's a national.
Thank you. Counselor Chilcott.
Thank you. Excuse me. The ones that are red. What's the plan for those? If they're inadequate, we need to do something right away. Wouldn't we? If so, can we just replace one hydrant at a time, or does it have to be the whole system?
It is, and I'm going to venture out, and if I'm, need to be corrected, I'm sure Mr. Wilson will be more than happy to, step in. But it is the system itself. It's not the hydrant itself. It's the dead end of a system. Therefore, it does not have a loop to coming into it, and this is the, pipes that are going into that hydrant. Therefore, it would be, it's a much larger problem than just the hydrant itself. What are we going to do? We have to ensure that we know that when those red monitor or red hydrants are being used, we use extreme caution. Sorry.
Thank you. Your worship, members of council, if I could just add, maybe to Councillor Chilcott's question. Specifically regarding the two hydrants, that will be color coded red. First off, I think it's important that the NFPA 291 is recognized as a recommendation. And further to the chief's comments, that yes, our hydrants have been color coded for as long as I've been around. NFPA is not a new standard. With regards back to the two hydrants that will be coded red. It's important to know that doesn't mean that those hydrants cannot be used. For example, you know, it can be managed, and what we're trying to accomplish here is a balance of both fire protection, the ability to draw water when needed, with no problems. At the same time that we don't have a negative effect on the drinking water system. The drinking water system, and it's very important to understand, and I know everyone has either been refreshed or taken the provincial drinking water standard of care. It's very important to understand that we cannot run people out of water. This test was to identify or stress test essentially the water system. And the results of the report did find the areas that both myself and the chief were familiar with. The north end of the Vienna system has some sensitivities. It certainly does not mean, though, however, that those hydrants cannot be used. They can be used to draw water, and obviously for the equipment to return to the hall, they can be filled there. Water can still be drawn from those hydrants. It has to be drawn and at a process that's relatively slow. There was an earlier question that Deputy Mayor Weisler brought up in regards to the pumper trucks, in that if the hydrant only can produce 500 gallons a minute, I think the question that she was addressing was, can the truck be adjusted if the pumper truck is pumping from the hydrant? I think I understood that is yes, that the truck can be adjusted. So what happens if the truck overcomes the water supply? It creates a negative or sucks the water main and can potentially draw from people's homes. And that is essentially that's not a good scenario. If the hydrant can only produce 500 gallons a minute and the chief's truck can, say, for example, draw 1,100 gallons a minute, that is damaging for the system. So through both departments, we have obviously, we know the sensitivities of the system. We know that when there are major fire events, especially when there's mutual aid, that yes, there has to be some standardized procedures, and not only in our department, that everybody is aware of, so that we just simply do not have a negative effect on the drinking water system users.
Counselor Chilcott.
Sorry, it's just a comment, but the study that you've done and color coding all the areas, that'll help in the event of a fire, because you'll know that this spot has an orange or a red or a green, and know to send additional help or call on our neighbors to assist us when the fire is first reported rather than waiting till later.
This is correct. Yes, absolutely, Counselor Chilcott. And we certainly know and realize because of the topography of Vienna, we have a tremendous amount of water in the valley, in the low-lying areas of Vienna. Burwell is fairly consistent, relatively flat. And the only things that really govern the water in terms of the pressure in particular is the height of the water tower at the time on Nova Scotia line. That is our main source of the water protection. That's what it's there for. But when we have this, ranging topography, these elevations certainly creates problems with pressures at the higher elevation when there's big demand and when there is lots of water in the low-lying area of Vienna. But we just have to be cognizant that, we can't draw too much at one time there, or we do create a negative effect on the north end. And honestly, the chief mentioned, that the systems are relatively old. Yes, Port Burwell, 1971, Vienna, 1977. They have served us well, and they will continue to serve us. It's, new technology, new equipment, specialized fire equipment. Yes, things have changed since those days in the 70s. We just have to be aware of it, and that's where these studies are very valuable reports to us as we move forward.
Satisfied?
I'm good, yeah.
Seeing nods all around. All right. Motion reads a report FR 0123 regarding capital item number FD 02 water flow survey to receive for information. I need a mover and seconder for this. Councilor Emerson will move, Councilor Chilcott will second. All in favor? And it's a recorded vote.
Councilor Emerson,
Yes.
Councilor Froze,
Yes.
Councilor Chilcott,
Yes,
Deputy Mayor Weisler,
Yes,
Mayor Ketchabah.
Yes.
Thank you.
So your worship, at this time, if you are agreeable, perhaps we should restart the Zoom meeting and see if it helps the video. It would just be about a 5-minute recess.
All right, then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a 5-minute recess at this point, and hopefully we can get our technology up. But bear with us. So, yeah.